So the Prophet was given very clear instructions that if he's to follow anything, it has to be from divine texts. It cannot be from his community. Because as I told you, the community into which the Prophet was born, into which he was bred, into which he grew up and he was inviting them, was a community like many other communities, steeped down in the stupor of human worship. Of human worship. Of nature worship. They were worshipping nature. It's something popular if you study history of humanity. You will see the average human community that turns away from divine loftiness, they start worshipping humans. And they worship nature. We are in the season where soon time is what you call Christmas. Christmas is a good example to see how people have not only corrupted an idea, but have made it so popular, and they have taken the idea of paganism, where they have used the elements of nature, and they become scared of it, and they become gravitated towards it in a fanatical manner. They think it has godly powers. And that's what you see in the end is what we witness as Christmas today, which is almost devoid of any significant thing to deal with Jesus. It's become a pastime now for making money and getting people to have a nice time and business to flourish. And the business people, the economists, they like this. They like this. And those who are part of this perception of economy, religion, to use that cliche, now becomes an economic icon. And you can look at Muslims. We always don't leave those around us, we follow them. You can look at our cultural events. You can look at the events of Ramadan. You can look at the events of Eid, where it is Eid al-Fitr or Eid al-Adha. A lot of it has to do with making money. A lot of it has to do with what? Making money. Muslims consume more on this time. They dress up more on this time. The prices of everything escalate. So, they don't realize the oppression in that. There is no massive international movement against that. Live and let's all live. That's the whole understanding. So, this Prophet was advised that he should not follow anything but what was revealed. And I will bring those to you and to myself. Here is the direct advice to this epoch-making, this Prophet that we claim we love so much. You can refer to your Qur'an when you go home. It's in chapter 2, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 119. Here is what Allah is telling the Prophet. He says, إِنَّا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ بِالْحَقِّ. We have sent you with reality. We have sent you with reality. Anytime you and I live following the message of the Prophet, we'll be living a real life. We'll be not living two kinds of life. One is a real life when we're working, we go around on the road, we go to the mall, we study. That's a real life. We know that for sure. There will be a real life. إِنَّا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ بِالْحَقِّ. We have sent you with the truth. Because you should need to understand there was always falsehood around his community. The community of the Arabs were perforated with batil. The community of the Arabs were perforated with batil. Batil means the opposite of haqq, falsehood. The communities of nations of the world today is perforated with batil. The Muslim countries, the Muslim communities are perforated with batil. You can't hug two together. You can't hug haqq and batil together. You can't hug the truth in one arm and falsehood in the next arm and go hand in hand and arm in arm. It doesn't work like that. Because the Qur'an told us in chapter 17, لَقَدْ جَاءَ الْحَقِّ. Truth has come. لَقَدْ جَاءَ الْحَقِّ. Reality has come. لَقَدْ جَاءَ الْحَقِّ. Whatever is correct and right has come. لَقَدْ جَاءَ الْحَقِّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلِ. And falsehood has got to perish. إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. Because the essential ingredients of batil, it is something that perishes. What do you see growing in the Muslim world? What do you see growing in the Muslim families? What do you see growing in Muslim communities? What do you see growing in Muslim individuals and youth and adults? Do you see haqq? There is tremendous batil. Because the average mother and father, they feed it to their children. They allow it to be consumed, to be grown. Because the book of haqq is not the textbook of our children. The book of haqq is not the textbook of our children. We ourselves don't know this book. Take a sample of any 10 Muslim men and 10 Muslim women and sit them down. Say, have you been reading this Qur'an? Be careful, they will shout in your ears. Yes, of course, you're crazy. We read this book. Some of us finish it how many times in a month? Tell me what this book says about haqq. You don't know. Because why? We are not the people who are serious about this book. This book tells us that we need to investigate what is haqq in our life. We should not follow like apes and others. We should have solid grounds for doing something. We should have solid grounds for not doing something. We should have solid reason for whatever we're doing, and it should be backed by evidence. So the Qur'an told the Prophet, and if it is telling the Prophet, what about you and me? It says, Inna arsalnaka bilhaq. We sent you with the truth. We didn't send you with cultural religion. We didn't send you with traditional religion. We didn't send you to become Arabs. Hear this? We didn't send you to become Arabs. There's a competition with Muslims all over the world to look like Arabs. I have nothing personal against Arabs. Some of my great teachers were Arabs. I respect, but I don't respect that this is the standard of guidance. But there is a wave sweeping the Muslim world. You go to Asia, you go to Latin America, you look right in North America, there is a cultural madness sweeping. Women want to look more like Arab women. Men want to look more like Arab men. Because why? We are not living in a society of highly educated people. We are not living in a society where the average man and woman is a student of lofty Qur'an. We are living in a society where most people, what they have to show that they are Muslims is what they inherited from their backgrounds, their parents. And that is why you find there is a big business in Canada. Big business in Canada for anybody who wants to look like an Arab. Those people who have shops, they are making tons of money. And the poor, innocent people feel they're doing something very holy, very sacred. Do you see a wave in the society to become educated with the Qur'an? No, the average person makes excuses. The average person makes excuses. The average person is not crazy about learning the Qur'an for himself and herself. So the Qur'an told the Prophet in chapter 2, 119, Inna arsalnaka. If you understand the Arabic language here, there's tremendous meat here. Inna arsalnaka. We sent you. You didn't send yourself. So all those who felt the Prophet had some extra books in his back pocket,